Okay, welcome back. This one, I'm sorry I got you with a little clickbaity thing, but does size really matter? Um, and sometimes it does, especially in your rod length. And here I have two rods. Whoop. Here I have two rods. One is pretty much a standard 9-foot length rod, and here is my little 6.5 foot, wait, 6.5 foot long rod. Okay. Now, why would you have one length over another? When I first started in fly fishing, I fished a lot of small creeks. I thought, oh, a shorter rod would would be would be better. And um, so I did have a shorter, just regular standard graphite rod. This one's bamboo, um, and it worked. It was nicer to get around bushy areas and stuff. And then as I began fishing more and more, I realized the the possibilities of both length rods. A short rod like this is really good for little creeks that are very bushy on both sides and lots of overhanging trees and that kind of stuff. And as you become a better and better caster, I can cast this rod easily 50 feet. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. 50, 80 feet even. Um, uh, so it's not a problem to have this small rod. Now, what's interesting about the long rod is it's not the distance casting that is important. And I'm going to set this down for a moment. Is what a longer rod does is, first off, you have the length of the rod, which is 9 feet, and a couple feet of arm here. So right now I have a reach of 10 feet this way, and let's say 10 feet this way without even casting. If I count my leader in here, let's say I have a 7 or 8 foot leader, that just adds another 14 feet on either end. And what's great about this is, particularly if you're nymphing, it's almost like a tenkara rod at this point, because tenkara rods tend to be around 11 foot long. So they give you that extra length. And the idea is that you can reach from this side of the creek all the way over to this side of the creek. And also with streamers, you can run those streamers back and forth over this huge distance, okay? Over this 20-foot distance without even trying to cast. Now, if you cast a little bit, obviously then you get a little bit even more. But even on a small creek, you can cover almost both sides of the creek just without even casting, just by doing basically high sticking on both ends. So a long rod can be used on a small creek very effectively. In fact, almost more effectively than a shorter rod, because there I would have to, if I use this shorter rod, okay, I don't get nearly, I get 6 feet on this side and 6 feet on this side. So I'm getting 12 feet versus 20 feet on this one. So this one I would have to cast out, and I couldn't high stick it as much. So I'd say this rod, the shorter rods, are almost better for dry fly fishing versus the longer rods, which are really good for nymphing and streamer fishing. So you can take, you can use that information and decide which length rod you're going to use. And it's nice to have multiple rods, but if you're going to have one rod, a good 9-foot rod, you can't beat it. You can use it almost in any kind of conditions. So that's my tip for today. Size does matter sometimes. Sometimes size matters. Okay. Uh, we'll see you on the next one. I hope this was helpful.